We're now on to Chapter 4, discussing incentive pay in the workplace. There are 3 incentive pay assumptions. This is where the textbook starts off. Effective incentive pay systems are based on 3 assumptions. The first being individual employees and teams differ in how much they contribute to the company, both in what they do as well as how they do it. So we have different individuals working in different roles, and everyone has a different pace and a different motivator. This is one of our basic assumptions. The second is the company's overall performance depends to a large degree on the performance of individuals and groups within the company. So if we have an organization that is highly dependent upon the number of car sales that they have in a month, then that would really vary upon the different employees that they have, the incentive packages they have, and the motivators and the pay that are associated with those. Our third assumption is that to attract, retain, and motivate high performers and to be fair to all employees, a company needs to reward their employees on the basis of their relative employment. This is where incentive pay comes into play, because we could hire 50 people, 50 car salespeople, car salesmen, car saleswoman, I guess you would say. 50 people, they're all receiving the same base pay, but what might motivate them individually to make more or less sales could be the company's incentive program. If you sell 10 cars in a month, you get $1,000. If you sell anything above that, it's $500 per car. Those are different types of motivators. One employee might not be as motivated and they feel that their base wage is perfectly ample, so they might not be as productive in the workforce. Where another individual might be selling cars left and right because they are being motivated to perform more, which in one of our assumptions states that the more an employee, either an individual or a work group, is motivated to produce more, the organization does better as a whole. Contrasting incentive pay with traditional pay. We said in previous chapters that traditional pay generally includes an annual salary or an annual wage. So we have employees that are hired for $50,000 a year. That is their traditional pay. An organization might not have much above and beyond that, but incentive programs are a great way to really move our employees up to increase productivity for the organization as a whole. There are 3 types of incentive pay categories. The first being individual, where we can reward our employees individually for the work that they're doing. The second being group. These plans promote supportive, collaborative behavior amongst the employees. You could have different bank branches that are competing for the highest amount of loans that they open in the month of September. So we have an organization, they're all competing against one another, they're creating a sense of collaboration and teamwork amongst these individual branches as they're trying to outsell the rest of their colleagues. Then there's company-wide. These plans tie employee compensation with the company's performance over a short period of time. Again, back to the car sales. You can say individually we have goals if you sell over 10 cars. As a company, maybe we have a auto dealership in one side of town and an auto dealership on the other side of the town. Which one of those 2 is able to have more sales? And then as a company as a whole, if we sell 100 cars in the month of September, everyone gets a cruise to the Bahamas. These are totally fictitious stories, by the way, in case you didn't catch on to that. So there are 4 types of individual incentive plans. The individual was the first type of incentive plan that we discussed. Piecework plans. This is where you're paid by the piece. So if you are able to produce as many widgets, you are paid by the piece. That can work very well for people that are highly motivated. Management incentive plans award bonuses to managers when they meet exceeded objectives based on their sales, profits, productions, something such as that nature. So managers are able to receive an incentive bonus if their employees produce at a certain level. Behavior encouragement plans. Employees receive payments for specific behavioral accomplishments. This might work well in an organization where we really want to minimize negative impact to an organization. We want to make sure that we have 100% satisfied customers. We're providing the best in customer service. That would be tied to behavioral management. And our 4th type of individual incentive plan is the referral plan. Employees receive bonuses for recruitment of highly qualified employees. So you are able to receive an incentive package if you bring on new individuals to the organization. Individual incentive plans, they of course have pros and cons. The first being that it really retains those high performers. If an individual has a means of receiving high incentive pay, they're most likely wanting to stay with the organization if they're able to maximize those. The cons that can come along with that is that it may promote some unrealistic standards. People might feel that the base wage is not enough for a living wage, that they need to be able to meet those incentives in order to be successful at the organization. And sometimes what we associate with with incentive pay is something that is a little bit of a loftier goal because we want it to be something that the employees strive for. Group incentive plans rewards employees for their collective performance. In the example that we had of the branch, then we have individuals that are doing well together, and we're promoting that as a group or department as a whole. 3 types of team incentive plans. These can be great for organization. Sometimes they can be a demotivator because not everyone works well together as a team. And if you have one person dragging down the team, it tends to be more of a burden upon others than it can be an incentive. Work process teams, project teams, and parallel teams, also known as task force teams. This requires all of the employees to be working together in a cohesive manner with a focused vision or goal at the end. There are 3 types of gain sharing plans that the textbook mentions: Scanlon, Rucker, and the InfoShare plan. These are different types of programs where you want to, again, have incentive bonuses that can say when you are working well for our organization, you're working well as a whole, we will give you back part of that, much like a profit sharing plan or a 401k. That's a great way for people to maximize the profit that they are bringing back to an organization. If you don't just have individual incentives, if you don't receive that $500 in cash for selling the 10 cars in the month, then maybe you can receive part of the stock option bonuses for the organization, or you can take part in some of those greater level incentives that an organization has to offer. So that is our chapter. We've wrapped it up. Make sure to do your burning questions. Make sure that you're doing your weekly quizzes, and we're getting close to our midterm. Keep in touch.